After 4 championships and 53 wins, F1 legend Sebastian Vettel retired from Formula One driving after the Grand Prix in Abu Dhabi 2022. But we believe he'll be back. Keep on watching to find out why. F1's famous raver Sebastian Vettel has won 4 consecutive Formula One world titles with his team Red Bull between 2010 and 2013, and the 35-year-old F1 racer has seen the final season of his Formula One career with Aston Martin. Vettel, who was born in Heppenheim, Germany on 3 July 1987, started racing in karts when he was 7 years old. The next big step in the talented racer's career was the European Formula 3, where Vettel caught the attention of the BMW team, for whom Vettel started to do some tests since then. In 2004, in German Formula BMW, Sebastian won 18 out of 20 races and earned the championship title. Sebastian Vettel's Formula One debut was with BMW Sauber team in the year 2006, however only in the 3rd driver role when he took part in a free practice session in the Turkish Grand Prix weekend. At the time, he was only 19 years old. Vettel made his way to become the youngest driver ever to take part in an event in the racing category. The racer's racing debut came the season at the 2007 US Grand Prix when Vettel replaced Robert Kubica, who suffered an accident. On that occasion, Sebastian finished the race in 8th position, where he got his first career point. It was the same year that the young racer was confirmed as a main Scuderia Toro Rosso driver, replacing the American Scott Speed. He also made his debut that same year for Toro Rosso at the Hungarian Grand Prix. After joining Red Bull in 2009, Vettel successfully went on to win 4 consecutive world championships between the 2010 and 2013, and the first of which made him the sport's youngest title winner on record. Vettel's very first Formula One title in 2010 came quite shockingly in a championship close to the last Grand Prix. The German won 5 races the same year and scored a total of 256 points, 4 more than Fernando Alonso, who was with Ferrari back then. With this title, Vettel became the youngest racer in history to win an F1 World Championship at 23 years and 133 days old. The curious thing is that Sebastian had not led the championship at any point that year and managed to do so precisely at the moment that mattered most, in the very last race. The 2011 title for Vettel was much quieter, with the German completely dominating the championship that year. The driver won 11 of 19 races and scored up to 392 points in total, which was 122 more than runner-up Jenson Button. Then, in the 2012 championship, the competition was much tighter than the previous years. On that event, Sebastian took 5 victories and scored around 281 points in total, which was only 3 ahead of Fernando Alonso. With this title, then the German broke another record and managed to become the youngest 3-time champion in history at 25. In the year 2013, he went on to win his last world title. It was the easiest title of his career, now becoming champion with 4 Grand Prix in advance. That season, he managed to win 13 out of 19 races and equaled Schumacher's record with the most wins won in a single season, which is a record that was broken this year by Verstappen, who so far has claimed 14 wins. Sebastian has now scored 397 points, 155 more than runner-up Alonso. On November 20, 2014, Ferrari announced that Sebastian Vettel was coming to the team to replace fellow rival Fernando Alonso with a 3-year contract. Moreover, the German's performance and results at the Italian team exceeded everyone's expectations. The F1 driver even rivaled Lewis Hamilton for the year's 2017 and 2018 championships and ended up being the runner-up in both seasons. However, Mercedes' superiority gave no chance for any F1 team to go higher. No doubt Sebastian Vettel still loves Formula One, however the fulfillment has disappeared as the wins have dried up. Now, after 16 seasons, the last 2 with a striving Aston Martin team, the F1 driver is now retiring and relieved to leave, even though still not clear what he will do next. Vettel's career has yielded 4 world titles with his team Red Bull, along with 122 finishes on the podium that include around 53 wins. Vettel's last win came in 2019 in Singapore after 6 seasons with Ferrari. Now confirming his retirement from F1, he said, "The decision to retire has been a hard one for me to take, and I've spent a lot of time thinking about it," in a video posted on his Instagram ahead of this weekend's Hungarian GP. Lewis Hamilton from the Mercedes team has said that he was sad to see Sebastian Vettel leave Formula One as a competitor, friend and fellow activist. He said that Sebastian Vettel was one of the very few Formula One racers in racing history that has stood for much more than just himself. He has used his voice in things I have fought for and stood by me. He's gone on his own journey and stood and fought for things which he believed in and for the greater good. He is just a beautiful human being, and I'm really grateful to have been here when he was racing. Also, Christian Horner, who is the team principal of Red Bull, stated that he would never forget when Vettel dominated. At his peak, Valtteri Bottas of Alfa Romeo said Vettel was pretty untouchable. He's had a great career and he's given a lot to the sport, he stated. His values in life have changed quite recently and now he has lots to give, but for the world. Vettel has said he was leaving F1 without any real regrets and said he had a really good time in his career. Now the question fans are asking is, will we see Vettel back in F1? For now, Vettel seems to be done with F1, but only some are convinced of the German's permanent farewell. Lewis Hamilton, as well as Fernando Alonso and among many others, have joked and stated that Vettel will return to the sport in the future. Also, the 71-year-old still thinks that the four-time world champion will be seen again in Formula One in the future. I think he will come back. I cannot imagine he won't miss the wheel, the fight, as well as the atmosphere. The question for me is how long it'll take, said the former F1 driver. There is talk that Vettel might return to F1 just like his fellow racers did in the past. One example is Michael Schumacher. He was an undefeatable force for much of his first stint in F1, and he remains the most successful driver in the championship of all time. Schumacher's strong relationship with Ferrari allowed for a dominance the likes of which had never been seen before in Formula One. But after an absence of 4 years and driving for Mercedes, circumstances had changed for the then 41-year-old German. Michael achieved one podium after his return, a third place at Valencia in 2012, but in the scraps for race wins, his place had been taken by the likes of still rising stars Lewis Hamilton and Vettel. Schumacher's Mercedes teammate Nico Rosberg had the better of him in each of the 3 seasons they were partnered, and his return is remembered as a somewhat unflattering addendum to his glorious F1 career. Fernando Alonso is another driver in recent history who attempted to permanently quit F1 at the end of the 2018 season. He left a frustrating time at McLaren to compete in other motorsports such as Le Mans and Indianapolis 500. However, in a twist to his story and to the delight of F1 fans, he returned in 2021 with Team Alpine. Fernando has also joked about Sebastian returning to F1 in the future. Lewis Hamilton has been very open in his opinion on Seb's future. They are close friends, and Hamilton said, "We always had such great battles." Talking to Vettel, he said, "I was just sitting here thinking most drivers are coming back. You're probably going to come back. You'll be back. Formula One has a way of sucking you back in. I don't think it's a goodbye show, it's see you later, because he'll come back. I'm going to put my money on that he's going to come back, just take a sabbatical like 1 year, perhaps 2 years maximum, and then come back." However, Martin Brundle doesn't agree with Alonso or Hamilton. He believes Vettel's retirement is permanent. Writing on his Sky F1 column, he said, "I remember a quite emotional interview with Fernando Alonso on the grid in Abu Dhabi 2018 as he was saying farewell, and he's just signed a new 2-year agreement taking him to at least the end of 2024. About Vettel, he wrote, "There was more of a finality about Seb's words and actions, suggesting he won't be back on the grid." So there we have it. Fans and drivers alike are speculating on a future return to F1 for Sebastian Vettel. What are your thoughts? Do you think Vettel will rejoin F1 in the future? Let us know in the comments. If you liked today's video, then make sure to leave us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon to be always updated with the most exciting content as soon as it's uploaded. Thanks for watching. See you again soon in another video.